I discovered I had cancer by chance and it saved my life. The ordinary day that changed everything. It was supposed to be a day like any other. One of those ordinary days when you wake up, take a deep breath, put your feet on the floor and think, okay, just another normal day. But sometimes, even the most ordinary days hide enormous surprises. I woke up late. And when I say late, I mean really late. That kind of slowness that makes you get up so fast that even the pillow falls to the floor, as if it were trying to get up along with you. Try to imagine this calmly. I jumped up, my hair all messed up, trying to put my shirt on the wrong way, the cat looking at me scared, and me tripping over my flip-flop. It was a scene worthy of a cartoon. I ran to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth so fast I think the toothbrush got dizzy. I grabbed some clothes, lazily tied my hair up, slung my backpack over my shoulder, and practically skipped down the stairs. I barely had time to breathe. I opened the front door and felt that cool morning breeze, which always seems to wake you up better than any coffee. But even that didn't save me from the rush. I was practically strutting down the street at high speed, dodging potholes, people, and little dogs, trying to get to the bus stop before it arrived. But when I turned the corner, there he was, the bus, closing the door, going away slowly. And I stood there, hands in the air, as if that might convince the driver to turn back. For a second, I thought about running after them, but the bus was already too far away, and I was already too tired. So, I did what many people do when everything goes wrong early on. I let out that long sigh, which almost sounds like a cry of relief, and thought, okay, I'll walk. It seemed like the worst possible decision at that moment. But sometimes life hides miracles on the paths we didn't want to take. I started walking, and as I walked, I began to notice the little things around me. The sound of birds, which I don't normally hear. The sound of leaves rustling in the wind. The smell of freshly baked bread wafting from the corner bakery. Everything seemed more alive that day. Perhaps because my body was trying to warn me that this was no ordinary day. And then it happened. In the middle of the walk, I felt a little pinch in the chest. A sensation so small, so discreet, so fleeting, that anyone could easily ignore it. It was as if someone had given it a little nudge from the inside, a gentle reminder, almost as if the body were saying, hey, there's something here. Can you look at me for a moment? It was so light that I even looked around, as if I were sure it wasn't me. I kept walking, thinking it was just the exertion of walking. After all, I was late, rushed, anxious. But the truth is, that little twinge stayed in my head, even though it didn't hurt. Because sometimes the body speaks so softly that we almost don't hear it, but we feel it. And that little twinge would return the next day, and in the other one, and in the other one. But before I understood that, the day went on. As I walked, I tried not to think too much. I stayed focused on what I had to do. I kept thinking about the day ahead, the huge list of things to take care of, the people I would meet. I was so engrossed in my thoughts that strange little feeling lost its importance. After all, a lot of people experience minor aches and pains from time to time, right? It's normal to feel a twinge, a little pressure, a discomfort here and there. And like many adults do, I simply moved on. But inside me, without me realizing it, something had already begun. Something small, something quiet, something that, if I hadn't paid attention later, could have become much bigger. But at that moment, I didn't know anything. All I knew was that I had missed the bus, was walking to work, and felt a strange twinge in my chest. And this mix of things, delay, walking, silence, a twinge, would be the beginning of a story that would change my destiny. Because sometimes a small thing, something simple, one thing you almost ignore, that's exactly how life saves you without you even realizing it. If these stories touched you, leave your comment. Like, with subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos, the discovery that changed the course of history. The days went by, and that persistent little twinge kept appearing. It wasn't severe pain. It wasn't something that would make me stop. It was more like a reminder, a soft bell ringing inside me from time to time. For the first week, I ignored it. On Monday, I started paying attention, and by the third time, that feeling already seemed like it wanted to have a real conversation. And then, one day, in the middle of work, during a casual conversation, I felt a twinge accompanied by a little flutter in my stomach. The kind of feeling you get when something isn't right. A chill so quick it almost goes unnoticed. But this time, I listened. My body was talking to me, and I finally listened. I decided to schedule an appointment. It wasn't out of panic, it was out of curiosity, for safety reasons. Because of that inner feeling, which often only women understand, that something needs to be checked. The appointment seemed normal, but it wasn't so normal after all. I still remember what the doctor's office was like. A bright, quiet little room, smelling of alcohol and coffee. The doctor smiled when she saw me come in, and that smile brought an immediate sense of peace. She asked, "How are you feeling?" And I replied in my own simple way, "Nothing too serious. Just a nagging little pain here in my chest." She listened to me with such care, with such interest, as if that little prick was something very important, even though I thought it was nothing serious. "Shall we do some tests?" she suggested calmly, just in case. The same word that seemed small, but carried so much meaning. I accepted. I took the tests, and I left thinking that everything would be all right. In my mind, I was 99% calm, because, let's be honest, who thinks that something serious can come from a seemingly insignificant little prick? At that moment, I was thinking, nothing special, just routine. 3 days later, the phone rings. It was the doctor's office. The secretary's voice was polite, but with a different kind of gentleness. "Hi, dear. The doctor asked you to come back as soon as you can. Can you come today?" My heart beat faster. It wasn't panic. It was just the feeling that something was about to be revealed. I got ready quickly and went. The room, the doctor, and the silence that says it all. When I arrived, the doctor called me in. She closed the door slowly, sat down in the chair, and looked at me with an expression I'll never forget. Calm, gentle, but serious. "I need you to stay calm, okay?" she said. That phrase always comes before something important. It's like a hug before the storm. My heart started beating faster. She took a deep breath. He opened the exams, and he spoke with such gentleness that it seemed as if he were holding my hands as he said, "The tests revealed a tumor, but I want you to listen to this very carefully. We discovered this very early, and that changes everything." It was like hearing two news stories at the same time. As heavy as a rock. The other one is as light as a balloon. Tumor. The word seems too big to fit in our heads. It looks like a terrifying monster emerging from a dark closet. But she immediately continued, "If you had waited longer, it would be very different. But you came. You paid attention to your body, and that saved you." Little did I know that that phrase would become the guiding light of my journey. The world went quiet. When she finished explaining, I couldn't say anything. Nobody is saying anything at the moment. The body remains still. My mind goes blank. Time seems to turn to jelly. All I could hear was the sound of my own breathing. Slow, heavy, trying to keep up with the situation. And at the same time, something inside me was saying, "But." I only felt a tiny twinge. How is that possible? The doctor explained everything calmly, as if she were talking to a child. Sometimes, the body sends subtle signals, very small. If we listen to these signs, we can resolve them before they become something big. That was exactly it. Simple, deep. That's completely true. The journey home thoughts that blend together like a colorful drawing. On the way home, I felt everything at once: fear, surprise, confusion, and a tiny bit of relief because I knew I had found out early. I looked at the buildings, the trees, the people, and everything seemed different. It's as if the world has changed color. It's strange. But when you go through something big, simple things change in size. The air feels heavier, the ground seems farther away, and the heart seems bigger. I was walking slowly. He was breathing slowly. He thought slowly. And for the first time, I deeply understood something that even a child can perceive. When we discover a problem early on, it becomes much easier to solve, and the journey would truly begin there. That consultation wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a delicate battle, the beginning of a transformation, the beginning of a tremendous learning experience about myself. And everything, absolutely everything, started with a delay, a lost bus, an unplanned walk, and a tiny, almost invisible prick that could have gone unnoticed. This brief sequence of events, this silent domino, that's what changed my destiny. And strange as it may seem, on that day I still hadn't understood. Sometimes, what seemed to go wrong was exactly what was going right. The journey to healing after the news, life was never the same again. It's as if someone changed the channel of my story without telling me. Before, I used to live chasing the clock. Now, the clock was running after me. But however frightening it seemed, there was one certainty that accompanied me from the very first moment. I found out early, and that gave me a huge opportunity. This phrase has become my safe haven, my shield, my superpower. The first day of the journey, a mixture of courage and fragility. I remember going to the hospital right at the beginning of the treatment. The walls were white, very white, so white that they reflected even my thoughts. The lights were bright. The air had that unique hospital smell, a mixture of alcohol, hope, and fear. I felt too small inside that place that was too big, but at the same time, something inside me was saying, "You can do it, one step at a time." And that's something even children understand perfectly. When a path seems difficult, we tackle it one piece at a time. The people who became my team of heroes, the first thing I realized was that I wasn't alone. Not for a second. My family seemed to grow around me. My friends would show up with words that warmed my heart. Co-workers sent each other kind messages. Suddenly, it felt like the whole world was holding my hand. And that became one of the greatest lessons of my life. When a person alone is unable to carry something, many hearts together can achieve this. Even children know this. Like when several friends help someone get up from the floor, or when everyone comes together to push a stuck cart. And each hug, each word, each visit was like a little piece of strength that I received. The good days and the bad days, the journey was not a straight line. There were curves, there were climbs, there were potholes. There were days when I woke up smiling, and days when I woke up feeling cloudy inside. There were days when everything seemed light. I felt energetic. I could laugh, talk, walk. And there were days when everything felt heavy. Days when the body tired quickly, when the silence made a noise, when the mind became confused. But you know what I found out. There is no such thing as a good day and a bad day. There is day to fight and day to rest. And both are part of the victory. It's the same when we're learning something new, riding a bicycle, for example. Some days we cycle beautifully without falling. And there are days when we stumble, slip, and think about giving up. But it's by trying every day that, in the end, we truly learn. Appointments, exams, and the lab during the week, each trip to the hospital felt like a journey to an unknown place. The cold room, the noise of the machines, the nurses were walking back and forth. Everything seemed to be part of a movie where I was the protagonist, even though I didn't want to be. I was undergoing tests that looked like scenes from science fiction. She would lie down in enormous machines, remain still like a statue, and hear strange sounds reminiscent of robots talking. Sometimes I would close my eyes and imagine I was on a spaceship. That was the way I found to make everything a little lighter. And every now and then, the doctor would say something that repeated itself like a mantra. You arrived early. Remember that. That makes all the difference. You're doing very well. These phrases entered me like little stars illuminating the darkness. When the body speaks, we learn to listen. Throughout the journey, I began to pay attention to my body in a way I never had before. The way I was breathing, the rhythm of my heart, the texture of my skin, the temperature of my hands, the silence inside my head. Before, I lived so fast that I didn't notice any of this. But now, every detail mattered. And this lesson is so simple that even a child understands it. The body speaks, always. And when we truly listen, he shows the way to healing. The small victories that only those who live them understand. There was one day when I managed to eat something without feeling nauseous, and I celebrated as if I had won a gold medal. There was another day when I managed to climb an entire flight of stairs without having to stop. And for me, that was like climbing a mountain. There was a day when I was able to truly smile for the first time in weeks. And that smile felt like a sunrise inside my chest. That's when we realize how small things are actually gigantic. Even children already know. Sometimes, the smallest design is the most beautiful. Sometimes the smallest gesture is the most important. Sometimes the smallest victory is the most significant. And then, something changed inside me. As the treatment progressed, something inside me also changed. It wasn't just the body healing, it was the soul maturing. I realized I was getting stronger, more courageous, wiser, more connected with myself. I began to see life with different eyes. It was as if I had cleaned a window that had been foggy for years. Simple things have become treasures. Time has become gold. Affection became the remedy. Hope has become fuel. And above all, I learned something I will never forget. When we face something big, we discovered that we are greater than we imagined. The end of the journey was near, but I didn't know it yet. At each appointment, the doctor would tell me, "We're doing very well. Keep it up." Those words were like tiny seeds of hope planted within me. And without realizing it, the most anticipated moment of all was approaching: the final exam. The exam that would tell if all those difficult days were worth it. The test would determine whether the small victories had added up to form a great achievement. The test that would tell me if life was ready to give me a fresh start. And so, with fear and courage walking hand in hand, I continued, because, deep down, I knew. I had found out early on. I had listened to my body. I had fought with all my might. And that's why he had a huge chance of winning. The final turning point. The news that changes everything after months of struggle, care, consultations, fear, courage, and love. The day finally arrived, major exam. The one who would define everything. The one that separated the before and the after. The one who carried the answer my heart had hoped for and feared since the beginning of the journey. It's funny how a single day can seem so long. I woke up early, but it seemed like the clock was being lazy. The minutes passed slowly, as if they were walking on tiptoe, trying not to scare me. I took several deep breaths. I put my clothes on calmly. I looked in the mirror and saw a different person. Not physically, but emotionally. I was no longer the woman who felt a twinge in her chest. I was someone who had faced something enormous and somehow was still standing. And that was already a victory. The drive to the hospital felt like another world. When I left home, the air was cooler. The sky seemed bigger. The leaves of the trees danced in the wind, as if they were cheering for me. I remember walking in silence. Each step was a dialogue with myself. Everything will be fine. You did everything you could. You found out early. You are strong. But at the same time, there was a feeling of butterflies in my stomach. A chill similar to the one you feel before opening a very important gift. A gift that can bring anything. Ultimately, that's what receiving a result is all about. To open a gift from life with your heart in your hands. You and the white room again. When I arrived at the hospital, everything looked the same. The same chairs, the same people walking, the same smell of alcohol mixed with hope. But I wasn't the same, and that changed everything. The receptionist smiled at me, as if she already knew that this day would be special. I sat down, waited a moment, and soon they called my name. I entered the room, and there she was, my doctor, with that smile that always seemed to hold a secret message. She asked me to sit down, and even before opening her mouth, I felt it. My heart was beating strongly, but in a beautiful way, as if he knew something big was about to happen. The silence that speaks louder than words. The doctor took my test results. He took a deep breath, and he looked me straight in the eyes. For a few seconds, there was no word spoken. And sometimes that silence is the most powerful part of a conversation. It's like the pause before the music starts. Like the moment before the lights come on stage. I stood there frozen, waiting. And then, she smiled. A gentle smile. Calm. That smile that embraces even before touching. And he said, "Are you well?" "Very good." The tumor disappeared. "You won." The world became light, so light it seemed to float. At that moment, it was as if the universe had lifted a huge stone off my chest. I felt my legs go weak, my eyes filled with tears. My heart opened up like a window receiving light after a long time in the dark. I took a deep breath, one of those sighs that isn't one of sadness. They are feelings of relief, peace, and gratitude. The doctor held my hand and said again, very softly, "You won because you discovered it early. You won because you listened to your body. You won because you were brave." And I understood right then, at that exact moment, the most important part of the whole story. Chance saved me, but my choice to act kept me alive. The walk back now with a different meaning. When I left the hospital, it felt like the whole world was celebrating with me. The sun was shining brighter. People seemed to be smiling more. The air felt lighter. But of course, perhaps none of this would have really changed. Perhaps everything would remain the same. What had changed was me. I was walking, and each step felt like a dance. The sound of the leaves in the wind was like applause. The sound of my heart was music. I returned home with the feeling that life had given me a precious gift, a second chance. And from that day on, everything changed. I started living more slowly. Keep an eye on things. Listen more. Thank you again. I realized that small things are actually immense. The smell of coffee, a hug from someone you love, the wind hitting my face, the sound of laughter from someone we love, the safe silence of being alive. And above all, I learned a lesson that fits in the heart of any child. When the body speaks, we need to listen. Even if it's just a whisper, even if it seems like nothing, even if it makes you lazy, because that's how it was, hearing an almost insignificant little nudge that I discovered what was happening inside me, and that I had time to save myself. The message that remains for those who listen to this story: life always gives signs. Sometimes they're too small, sometimes hidden in ordinary days, sometimes disguised as silly annoyances. But these signs, those little details, they have the power to change everything. What happened to me started by chance, but it ended by choice. By choosing to pay attention, for choosing to take care of myself, by choosing not to ignore what seemed small. That's why I am here today, telling this story, breathing, living, reborn. What if this story exists? This is to remind you of something simple. Life speaks, and when we listen, she saves. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos.